Hello everybody and welcome to the Sovereign Village Project. I want to talk about the goals and the next steps of this community, meaning this online community that we have all collectively created. The Sovereign Village Project, everybody who's on this channel and who is interested in building resilient, regenerative, sustainable, and independent communities, lifestyles, families, and farms and homesteads. We're all pretty like-minded, I think, on this channel about that, and we know what the problems are. They don't really need to be restated. You know, we know where the world is going. It's going to a place of global totalitarianism, of environmental destruction, and of tyranny, and we want no part of that. And at the beginning of this channel, the idea was very small. You know, it was created on this idea of let's form an intentional community that keeps us kind of safe and secure from all of this stuff. And that sets an example. But since then, the channel's really changed to be much broader and to have some bigger goals. And so I kind of wanted to fill you all in on that and talk about how we're going to move forward and how I think we can all collectively move forward on this. The idea now that we've come to after a couple of years of homesteading and building community is that while intentional communities are a great piece of the puzzle, there's solutions that are maybe better suited for most people in the situations they're in. Most people do not have $500,000 lying around to buy a giant 100-acre parcel of land and build houses and start an intentional community. And it also doesn't make the most sense to strictly go to that as a solution, because what about the rest of the country? The rural South and Midwest and so much of the United States and pockets around the world is full of people who value liberty, who value the land and treating it right. And are we going to exclude all of that and build our little tiny fortresses all around that are susceptible to attack, whether by nature or by man? I don't think that's necessarily the solution that fits the times we're in by itself. I think intentional communities are a great piece of the puzzle, and I'm involved in 2 or 3 of them now with my homestead design business, and they're incredible projects that over time I'll be sharing on this channel more with you. But what we've discovered is that just building community around us is far more effective. You know, our next door neighbors, the people around us, we have met so many people who are like-minded, who want to build the same things as us, and we didn't have to have the budget. We were a young couple starting out. We could 5 acres in a homestead tapped us out financially completely. And so in order to build enough wealth to do anything larger, well, that would take decades. But we found out it's just not necessary. There's a community center right down the road from us that is it's used very little. It's this old 100-year-old building. And why would we build a new community center on a new parcel of land? Why don't we just get to know the folks at that community center? There's an older couple that runs it, and who's been working very hard to preserve it for the community. And here we are we're younger and we have some ideas, and we have a chance to start making that the center of this community again. And that's just one example of how we can start building the community around us. We are building things with our next door neighbor. We're gardening with all of our neighbors. Every single neighbor adjacent to us is growing food that we gave them, or vice versa. So what we want to do with this channel moving forward, after that, we're about to do the Back to the Land Festival this weekend. And so we're using this as a time to really reset our priorities and goals for the channel, because we're going to have a lot more time and we're actually going to be able to start putting out more content again. So we want to use this as the time and this channel as a time to change the focus to really bringing solutions to everybody on the channel about how to build the communities around them. And so we're going to start really documenting our processes and the ideas that us and other people are pursuing. So for example, real community building solutions like starting homeschool groups or micro schools, or doing tutor shares, starting cooperative farm operations or food co-ops where maybe everybody has like some surplus food to sell, but it's maybe not enough to service a full CSA. So we could start a group CSA, we could start a group farm stand. Maybe one member of a group in a community, they have great highway frontage, but you have more land. So you say, all right, let's get these 5 or 6 homesteaders together, we'll pool our resources. This guy will grow lettuce, this guy will grow tomatoes, and we'll actually be able to have a consistently run farm stand with consistent food that will really become a food staple in the community. Maybe it's forming neighborhood watch groups or mutual assistance groups to keep ourselves and our communities safe from whether it's crime or tyranny, any threat to our families. Maybe it's setting up communications networks, disaster relief organizations. Maybe it's building churches, new churches that really focus on building community and being solutions in the community. The list goes on and on and on. One of the exercises we're actually going to do at this festival is have a list of these ideas and send people home with contact information of the other people at the festival to really start building this stuff. And that's what we want to mimic on this online platform is let's really start truly building these solutions and not just talk about them anymore. And so we're going to be documenting a lot of that and it's going to be very interactive. Our community hour, which is when we do our YouTube lives, that's going to focus more to like solution-oriented discussions where we will, run ideas by people, people will run ideas by us, and we'll have a conversation about how to really effectively pursue these solutions. So that's where we're headed, is let's build communities, not just a community. This project started out with the idea of building a community. And I think now Sovereign Village Project has changed, and what it is now is let's show the world how to build many, many communities and how to correctly build a society that is regenerative, that is independent, that respects individual sovereignty, but also understands the value of community and why we all need to work altruistically together, and how it is possible, and how we can build a better world and prepare for this shift really into a new earth. So I encourage you all to not just follow along, but to become engaged and active participants. We're going to keep building that email list at sovereignvillageproject.com in case this channel ever gets shut down, which inevitably it will, because we try to speak truth around here. So of course the technocracy is not going to allow that. So I encourage you all to stay tuned. I think you'll see a shift on this channel. I think it's going to be a really fun, exciting, and dynamic shift, and it's going to be very solutions oriented. And I'm really excited to start building these things with y'all. So everybody, in the meantime, stay safe, be well, and happy homesteading.